Dan Galusha, and welcome to another edition of Dan's Fishing Tales. I'm out here in the storage shed checking out my ice fishing gear because ice fishing isn't that far off. And I started thinking about some safety items, things that you might not think of. I mean, normally people think of the safety as the thickness of the ice and that sort of thing. And there's a few other things too, especially one very, very important one, and that is staying warm. That's right, I know it for sure because I have a problem that there have been times that I've only been out for 20 to 30 minutes. And I had all the clothing that you could have, really. But there are a few things that you need to know about. Your hands, your feet, and your head. Those are the three important parts to really keep warm. The head is where most of your heat escapes. So, start off with a good cap. One that is not mesh, but one that is completely round. In fact, even if it's thermal, that's better yet. Now, adding to this, and we're going to pull this out right here. Here's one here that is a thermal. One like this has a lining. Good cap. Very, very good cap to have that sort. And that will really keep the heat in on your head. Now we're going to talk about hands. And with that, make sure that you have a very, very good pair of gloves, such as these fish monkeys. No, they're not one of my sponsors, but they do have a good set of gloves here. My hands even get cold in these. Yep, I know that sounds weird, but like I said, I've got some problems that are creating this, and it's getting worse. So another thing, in fact, one of the things I was checking out in here is my Frabill shelter. That is an ice hunter. It's got a thermal type cover. Again, very important to the heat. You can also use a heater if you want, but be careful of those. Make sure they're spaced properly. Make sure you got a good one, a catalytic type heater, something of that sort. That'll work well. Now, why did I keep this on? I want to show you another thing you can do to keep your hands warm, and I have used this quite a bit. Right here, this is a Sportsman's muff. Now, I might not take this out on the ice with me. I really don't know. It just depends on how cold it is. I always try to pick days that aren't all that cold. But inside of here, I've got several of these. These are rechargeable hand warmers. They're Zeppos. And the nice thing about them, you can see they got a kidney bean shape. I'll lay this down here. And with this glove, I'll get one of them. I can put this in my hand like this and put it in here. Put my hand on in there, put the on down in there, and it went right in with that. Now, no, I can't do a lot of things. I do have a little bit of mobility in here, but I've got some warming on that. Another thing I will do with it is I'll pull it out, leave it in there, and I'll leave it on top. But then you got to work it down in here so that you can get your fingers. It takes a little bit of working. You have to pull the warmer back down about here so that you can get your hand in there like this and around there. And now I got that back here. You've got a cinch up area that you can take and pull it and hold it up in here. Now this will keep this warm up here, which is good. And then you've got more mobility. But again, you're going to have to cinch this down or you'll probably have that work out. That's an idea for you. And I've had to find them all because, again, I got this problem with that. Your feet wise, I like to use these, what do they call them, merino wool socks. Those work pretty good. And then a good pair of pack boots. I use Boundary boots. I don't even know if they make them anymore. But I used to be a cost accountant for the company that did. Now, what about the rest of the body? Yeah, you got to keep that warm. In fact, this is a fleece vest. I will use this. And I will layer. And how I layer is I'll take like a crew sweatshirt, not a hoodie one, but a crew sweatshirt, and I might put this over it. In fact, most time I do, or I'll wait and put a hoodie like this one right here that's made for the cold weather. It's a regular Vexilar Pro Staff hoodie, but it's made for the colder weather. I'll put that perhaps over the crew and then put this on the outside, or vice versa. Just depends on how I want to do it, how I'm feeling. Sometimes I won't even have this on. The next thing that I'll have, and this is heavy, I'll guarantee you that, is a parka, and that's my last resort, because underneath this parka there's what they call tundra bibs. And I'll try to get that out. There we go. These are tundra bibs underneath here, and I will use those. Again, they're a Vexilar product, cold wear product, and cold weather gear, and they really work good. In fact, I think it's called cold snap gear actually. I work with the depth finders more than I do the clothing end of it, but this I will put on as very last resort. Now, we were talking about gloves. Inside the shelter, you might not need gloves quite as much. In fact, I try to avoid them at all. But if you can find them, these task gloves are ideal. I don't even know if you can find these anymore, but they're, seems weird, but they are warm, and they're a nice little set of gloves. And I don't even think they make them anymore, to tell you the truth. But there's probably something out there like it. Now, what I'm going to tell you next about is kind of back to the hoodie or the cap type of an area. And we'll put, in fact, I'm going to put this down here. It's just too doggone heavy to hang up here. Okay. This right here, it's not really a balaclava, because the balaclava covers your face, but you can use that too in extremely cold conditions. But this is a hood, and you put that on, and you can use that as a separate hood. And this down here will go down into this area, again, trapping the heat, keeping the heat in. That's the important part. Keep your body heat in. And why do I stress this? Well, believe it or not, I have seen people out ice fishing. They're definitely newcomers. They go out with tennis shoes, and the one guy even had just like a poplin jacket on. That was all. Well, I said I had a hard time staying with 20-30 minutes. This guy and his buddy, I don't think they stayed 10. I mean, they had to be absolutely freezing. And again, your feet and everything, they were just plain cold. Now, sometimes too, and I got to stress this for safety, is that the cold will slip up on you. And that's happened to me. I think, gee, my hands are getting warmer, I'm okay. But I'm not. I have had it where I have had it so bad that I've pulled off on the way home. I've pulled off the side of the road because the pain is going into my chest, just like a heart attack. And that's another thing that can cause. Cold can do a lot of bad things to your body. And hypothermia, if you get that and you start shaking and you go down, you might not make it, because hypothermia will kill you as easily as anything else, and that happens if you fall through too. But that's another tip. So until next time, get out on the water and have a great day of fishing. And if you're on the ice, stay warm.